Hello, welcome to Revenant Reads. I'm Vin, and this is another installment of Book Trek 2023, where we are looking at Star Trek Enterprise, What Price Honor by Dave Stern. So this book was published in 2002, and right off the bat, admittedly, it has one of those supremely boring covers, where it's just a production still. Just a photo of the character. We just have, the actor there who plays Lieutenant Malcolm Reed, and covers like this do nothing to really entice. But as I was going through Star Trek books for this Book Trek 2023, which is a yearly event where we read and talk about and celebrate Star Trek fiction, it's super geeky. But I've got some great co-hosts that I'll list down in the description below. We're also making videos, and we're just having a good time with it. I found myself recently kind of thinking about Enterprise and remembering how much I actually really enjoyed the show. One that was cut off too short. It only went through 4 seasons, and the 4th season had some excellent Trek in it. And I decided, you know what, I feel like returning to that world. So I picked this up off my TBR bookcase of Star Trek books, and figured I'd give it a shot, even though, again, this is a very boring cover. And admittedly, Malcolm Reed is, I would almost maybe say like second tier character. There weren't many episodes that revolved around him. There's something about his personality that took a long time to kind of warm up to. So he is not the first choice, I think, for many authors to write a book for Star Trek Enterprise. But I'll say Dave Stern, don't let this cover deceive you. He wrote a really good Trek novel here. This is another kind of mystery. I've been reading a lot of, somewhat murder mysteries lately, not on purpose. They just all seem to be murder mysteries. This one's a little bit different, though. So this one has an ensign, Ensign Alana Hart, if I remember her name correctly. We don't know a lot about what's happened in the very beginning, but we do know that she was trying to basically sabotage or do something to the weapons in the armory, and Reed had to basically shoot her. He tried to hit her with a stun, and somehow it kills her. And he is racked with guilt about that. Now, throughout the novel, you go from that having just happened, but at the same time, they've come across this new species. There's actually 2 species that they're dealing with, but mostly dealing with this one species called Sarcasians, I think. I could be wrong about that. Does it say on the back? No, I don't think it does. But there's a diplomatic issue going on with that, and there seems to be a connection between what happened with the ensign and this whole thing. And what Dave Stern does is each chapter, basically one is following the present, and the other chapters are catching us up from the past. So we have alternating chapters where we're basically following along with this whole diplomatic crisis that's going on with this new species. And the other chapters are all that it's alternating with are looking at Lieutenant Reed and Ensign Hart, and their dynamics and how their relationship, they're basically is growing stronger, leading us up to the point where he basically shoots her. And by that point, one of the things I like, and I've seen movies do this, and I like the kind of, narrative structure where you have 2 different timelines that end up kind of converging in the end. So I usually find that to be a very effective way to tell a story if it's done right, and I think it's done right here. So this is mostly, it's a mystery, but really it's a character study of Malcolm Reed. And I think that Dave Stern did a really good job. It's solidly paced. There's not a lot of dumb stuff in here. By the second half of the novel, I was certainly starting to figure things out, but not entirely exactly how things played out. So it wasn't like, I'm sitting there, frustrated, waiting for the characters to catch up with where I am. There's a little bit of that, but there wasn't that much. But there were some really effective passages. Really good storytelling. Like I said, I thought the pacing was excellent. It kept me wanting to just keep turning the page. I couldn't wait to get to the next chapter. There are times when that alternating chapter structure, you do have to pay close attention because you can kind of forget where you are in the timeline. You got to pay close attention to that. He does try to let you know with dates in the chapter heading, but you still gotta readjust every single time a new chapter comes in. But I found this to overall be a very satisfying read. It's not like action-packed or anything like that, but it's got some kind of cool alien world stuff going on. It feels very much like Dave Stern got the characters of Enterprise right, which I think is incredibly important for this type of fiction. And it makes Malcolm Reed into a very kind of sympathetic and overall, I don't know about compelling, but a protagonist. He's our central protagonist. Everything is seen from his point of view. It's wonderful to get inside his head. Sort of a little bit of a lesser explored Star Trek character. I thought it was all done very, very well. So if people are fans of Enterprise, and this sounds pretty good, I actually would highly recommend this one. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So again, boring cover, but Enterprise, What Price Honor, Dave Stern. Definitely a hit for me. As always, thank you, BookTube.